Yeah, so yeah, markets basically it's a exchange place where it's a marketplace where buyers and sellers come to sell a particular stock. And stock exchanges we have NSE, BSE, and MCX, the major ones, the recognized ones in India. And who are the buyers? Who are the participants in the market? There are buyers and there are sellers. Now the sellers are people who own the stocks. What exactly is a stock now? A stock is basically a part ownership of the company. A stock is also known as equity. So if someone tells you they're trading in stocks, they're trading in equities, it's one and the same thing, right? The next thing I was coming to is the market participants. There are sellers, there are brokers, and there are buyers, right? So what happens is a company issues for the first time its shares to the common public in general. That is called an initial public offering, an IPO. Once an IPO is done, then the company can get itself listed on any recognized stock exchange. When they are listed on the stock exchange, people can freely trade. And now comes the broker in place where if you want to trade, you need to be registered with some broker, right? Because you cannot access the exchange directly and tell them, I want to buy or I want to sell the stock. It can only happen through a broker, right? So there are different types of brokers, but the recent thing is there are discount brokers like Upstocks, Zerodha. Okay. So what happens is that in terms of buyers and sellers, there are majorly three participants. One are retailers, that is retail traders, that is people like you and me. People like us, individuals, they cannot move the markets. And why they cannot move the markets? Because they have a lower capital. And if they have a lower capital, they cannot get large amount of shares, right? And that is why they cannot cause a movement in the market. Now, the other two participants, who are they? First one is domestic institutional investors, and the second one is foreign institutional investors. Now, what are institutional investors? They are asset management companies, mutual fund, portfolio companies, LIC. LIC is the best example. They gather money from people all around the nation. They have billions and millions of rupees to manage, and through that, they can easily cause a movement in the market. If they sell their shares, if they buy the shares, it can cause a big gap, a big dip or a big downtrend or a big uptrend in the move, right? So that's what institutional investors mean. Domestic ones are the ones that are registered in India and they are an Indian company. And foreign institutional investors are basically companies that are from outside India. They're foreign companies. Let's say JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, right? So these are some foreign institutional investors. Then we also learned about trading and investing. What is the difference between trading and investing? So trading is basically for short term. Trading is done on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis, or maximum, you can hold it for a month's period. It's called a positional trading. So there is in trading, there is intraday, there is swing or positional, whatever you call it, which spans over a couple of weeks time maximum. And then there is investing, where you are investing in a stock for a longer period, where you're not looking for the returns, but you are looking for the price of the stock to increase, right? On a longer period. Let's say you invest 1,000 rupees in Reliance right now, and then you forget about it that you invested, and after like 3 years, something you see, you are waiting to fetch any returns. That is investing. Now, the biggest thing we learned about trading is that in trading, there is some facility for intraday trading called leverage. Now, what discount brokers do is they give you the facility of leverage. What exactly is leverage? Let's say if you in your Demat account registered with the broker on the broker's portal, let's say you have 1,000 rupees. Now, the leverage, let's say the leverage that they are giving you is five times. So what does that mean? That 5 times of the fund in your, 5 times the fund that you have, that is 5 times of 1,000, that is 5,000. So up to 5,000 you can trade. But this is only available for intraday. And what intraday means is you enter a position on a particular day and you exit that position on that particular day as well. That is what intraday is. And leverage is allowed only for that. Upstocks allows for Upstocks allows it for delivery trades as well, where they give you 50% margin. So that's about trading and investing. Now, what else did we do? We learned about bulls and bears. Why? What is a bull? What is a bear? A bear, when it attacks from its claws downwards. So whenever we say that a stock is bearish, it means the price is going down. And if you've seen a bull with his horns, it attacks in an upward direction, right? So that means whenever we say that a stock is bullish, it means that the price is rising. So that is bearish and bullish, right? What are the other things we covered? Okay, so regarding Aryan, my internet is not lagging. Everyone is able to hear and see properly. Yeah. So about the margin, I'll take an example, to make you understand better. So let's say that I have 1,000 rupees in my account and I took shares worth 5,000. Let's say I bought one share of Reliance which is worth 5,000. Just an assumption, okay? And in my Demat account, I just had 1,000 rupees. So with the facility of margin, I was able to purchase that share, which otherwise I wouldn't have. Now I bought it at 5,000, let's say 10 a.m. in the morning. And by the end of the trading day, that is by 3:30, let's say the price reached to 6,000. Correct. So at 6,000, I am selling it because intraday trade, I have to exit it before the day ends. So at 6,000, I sell the shares. Now how much funds will I have in my account after I've exited the trade? So the initial 1,000 which I had with me, that is obviously going to be there. And what was the profit that I made on this trade? That is 6,000 at which I sold and 5,000 at which I purchased. So the difference is 1,000. So the profit that I've made on this trade, it is 1,000. So at the end of the day, the fund that I will have in my account is the original 1,000 plus the 1,000 ka profit which I have made. So at the end of the day, I will have 2,000 in my bank, in my Demat account. So I hope that clears the concept of margin for you. Okay, some people are saying they can't listen. Let me just change my ear. Yeah, I hope you can hear me better now. Now, yes. So if now people are asking, what if we make a law? Yeah, what if you make a loss in that trade? So let's say, same example, you bought it for 5,000 and let's say it is going to 4,000. So what happens is in margin, you are allowed, when it's making a loss, it's only allowed till a particular time. So let's say in order to have 5,000 ka margin, you need to have 1,000 in your Demat. Now, if the price has fallen to 4,000, it means you are in a loss of 1,000. It means the 1,000 which you had in your Demat is basically wiped off, right? So then there is basically no money with which you can trade or no money on which they can give you a margin. So they'll immediately send you a notification saying either add money so that you can continue with the trade or exit the trade and book the loss. That's what happens. Okay, so I hope that clears. Sound is good now, much better. Okay. Yeah. So I hope that cleared the I hope that clears the concept of leverage for everyone. So there is only, so when you are, okay, once again, this is the last time I'm doing the leverage wala concept because we need to move ahead after that. So whenever leverage, let's say I have 1,000 in my bank account and I want to buy a share of Reliance which is worth 5,000. Now my broker is discount broker is giving me my discount broker is giving me a leverage of 5 times. So I'll be able to buy one share of Reliance, right? Let's say I bought one share of Reliance at 5,000. Now, at the end of the day, if it goes at 6,000, I make a profit of 1,000. And at the end of the day, I will have 2,000 in my bank account. That is 1,000 initial capital which I had and 1,000 profit, right? Now let's consider the scenario of a loss. When the price falls to, let's say, 4,500. Now, when the loss goes to 4,500, it means I'm already making a loss of 500. Now, if I'm making a loss of 500, it means 500 is going to be deducted from the actual money I have in the demat. That is from 1,000. So 1,000 minus 500. Now I will have 500 in my demat. So the leverage that will be available to me now, it will be 5 times of that. So immediately, the broker will send you notification saying either add money in your bank account or just exit the trade, because since you have no money, they cannot offer you any leverage, right? So that is what happens in leverage. Okay, a lot of messages coming. Do they charge any interest for the margin leverage? No, in intraday trading, they do not charge. There are no any different charges for the leverage. Yeah, candlesticks. I'm coming to candlesticks. Mukesh, everyone else is able to hear properly now. SEBI rules, so let's not get into all that right now. Why they provide leverage is so that it gives retail traders like us a better opportunity to trade with lower capital in bigger quantities. Now moving on. It's already 7:15. I need to finish off with the remaining part of yesterday. So the next thing we learned was candlesticks. Okay, what are candlesticks? There are basically two parts to a candlestick. One is the body, and then there is a wick. Now the body, there are two types of candles, a bullish candle and a bearish candle. In a bullish candle, what happens is, as we remember, a candle is basically showing the price movement in a particular time frame. So if I'm seeing charts on a 5-minute time frame, it's going to show me the movement of price in that particular 5 minutes. So let's say I'm looking at a 1 hour time frame. Okay, so one candle will show me the movement of price on 1 hour. So if at 9 a.m., okay, let's say the price is at 100. Now, until the time it reaches 10, let's say it fluctuates from, it goes down to 80, it comes up, it reaches to 150, and at 10 o'clock, it closes at 130. So over here, what has happened is that at the close, the price is higher than the opening, and that is why we call it a bullish candle, right? And bearish candle is the exact opposite, where the opening price is higher than the closing price. It is known as a bearish candle. Yeah, Pranav, you can put the message that I'm locking it now.
All right, cool.
Okay. So that's about candlesticks, and we learned about time frames. So that is a quick review of what we have done yesterday. And I had also taught, taken you through how to actually place orders, what all, what are different types of orders that you can place through the brokers, this thing. I showed it to you on Upstocks. So yeah, I'm not covering that right now because that'll take a lot of time. So today, let's start with today. Today, we are going to cover some very interesting topics. Today, we are going to be talking about trends. We are going to be talking about trend lines. We're going to be talking about what price action is. So trend line is basically part of price action. So yeah, let's start off. Just give me a second. I'll have a sip of water and then, I'll start off. Let me just add the last couple of people to the meeting and then I'm locking it off. It's already 7:18. We've given them more time than we told. Okay, meeting lock. कप में पानी नहीं पी रहा हूँ बेटा, कप में कॉफी है. Lock. Yeah, the meeting is now locked. Okay, so now there's not going to be any disturbance. Everyone has joined. Just a second. 1, 2, 3, and yeah, everyone has joined now. How to make trend lines? I'm starting. Let me start with the day. Okay. If people have left their videos on, it's a sincere request. Just everyone, please switch off your videos. Sid, Sachin, please switch off your videos. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen with you all and we're starting for the day. Today is going to be interesting. I'm going to go a bit slower if required. But okay, let's start. So yesterday we completed till time frames. Now today, I am going to start with trends. Let me just put it on slideshow. Okay, so what are trends? A lot of you might be aware of it. A lot of you might not. So what happens is whenever you see a stock chart, you'll always see it doesn't move in any one particular direction throughout time, right? It goes up, it comes down, it moves like a wave, it moves in swings. So what is this? How do we know that where is the stock price going? Is it going up? Is it going down? So we find that through trends. So there are different kinds of trends, right? There are two major kind of trends. Actually three. So the first one is known as an uptrend, and as the name says, it means that the price is going up. A downtrend, which means the price is going downwards, and there is also a sideways trend because a price can be flat and it can move in that particular range also, right? So that is called as a sideways trend, which we call a consolidation. Now, uptrend, I'm going to show you what exactly an uptrend looks like. Okay. So now how do we identify an uptrend? It's not just the price rising, right? So what you need to know is, let's say at today, the price started over here. Now, as you can see, the price is moving up over here. Now it has made a high. It's made the highest price up till now for today. Then again, the prices come down. So this is again making a low. But this low price, you can see, it is higher than the previous low. Correct. And again, see, again it's going up. Now it's made a new high. So this high point is higher than the previous high. Correct. So as you can see, again, there is a higher low, there is a higher high. So whenever you see a higher high and a higher low continuously happening, it means there is an uptrend happening, right? Now moving in a downtrend. Downtrend is basically the opposite. It starts off at a high point, So let's say it started today. This is today, and it started off at this point, which is the high for the day. Then it made such a big move down. It came to such a low point, and then it started bouncing back up. And it could reach only till here. Now this is a new high. So this was a low. Now this made a new high, but this high is lower than the previous high. Correct. And then again it goes down, and it's made a new low for the day. So this low is even lower than the previous low. So whenever you find lower highs and lower lows, it means you are seeing a downtrend in that particular stock price. Now coming to the third one, what exactly is a consolidation, or as I said, sideways trend? A sideways trend is basically, as you can see, it's a very range bound movement, right? It's moving only in this range, this area. Then over here we saw a small downtrend, and then again we saw a small up. This is again we're seeing a small uptrend. But as you can see over here, there is consolidation, that is a range bound movement, And again over here there is consolidation, that is a range bound movement, right? So consolidation is basically that the price is not giving you any big movements. Okay, so those are the different kind of trends that you need to know. Now, why do we see trends? So one sec. Why is it that a particular stock price comes down, it goes up again, then goes up, then probably comes down again? What is the reason for that, right? So since it works on the basis of demand and supply factors, right? So what demand and supply does is it creates supports and resistances. Now to explain support and resistances, I'm going to use an example of a ball. Take any ball. It doesn't have to be a basketball, but a ball in general, and a flat. Now let's say the flat is on the third floor, and I am standing there and I have the ball in my hand. Now, when I'm in the flat, I can see two things. There is a floor and there is a ceiling, right? Now, when I throw the ball on the floor, what will happen? It will obviously bounce up. It won't go down on the third. If I'm on the third floor, it won't go down on the second floor. That's what the floor is supposed to do. So the floor is acting as a support so that the ball doesn't fall down. Correct? Now, if I take the same ball and if I throw it upwards, what will happen? What will happen when it touches the ceiling? When it touches the ceiling, it's going to bounce back down from there. So the ceiling is acting as a resistance from the ball to go even higher. So that's what support and resistances does. A support, basically, whenever the price is falling, and if it comes to a support level, it will bounce back up from that price point. And whenever the price reaches at a resistance level, the price will be thrown down from there. Now, why this happens? Now, support is basically a demand zone. So as you can see, support from this point, it goes up. And resistance is something which is a supply zone. It means that from that point, the price will come down. Now, why does this happen this way? Why does this work? So support means that there is a lot of buying activity. So now take the basic ideology of demand and supply and price in relation to demand and supply. So whenever there is, Pranav, I think you're not muted. Can you mute yourself?
Yeah.
Coming back. So yeah, where was I? Demand and supply, correct. So whenever there is a lot of demand for any particular thing, the price also increases. An increase in demand leads to an increase in price. It is directly related that way. So whenever a price is falling, whenever the price of a stock is falling over here, as you can see from this resistance point, it's falling. Now at support, as I said, support is a place where there is a lot of buying activity. So what happens is कि पहले price यहाँ पे थी, the price was over here first and then it came down. So if the price has decreased, let's say if I was getting a tennis ball for 15 rupees at first and now I'm getting it for 10 rupees, of course I'll want to buy it. So a lot of buying activity will happen here. And when a lot of buying happens, so that is why from a support zone there'll be a rejection in price and it will go up. So this bounce back, we call it a rejection. Okay. Now similarly, resistance is a supply zone. So when there is a lot of demand happening, the price will keep increasing, and as much the price, the more the price increase, the demand will keep falling, because I would want to buy it for 10 rupees only. I don't want to buy it 15 rupees or 20 rupees. So when it reaches at this point, okay, so this is a resistance. So if it has reached a point of, let's say, 20 rupees. Now, if I'm a seller of tennis balls, the original, let's say a minute back, some while back, it was being sold for 10. But now if it is being sold for 20, I would want to sell more, because if I sell more, I earn more. So at a resistance point, a lot of selling activity will happen. So people will, and once a lot of selling activity happens, what will happen is there are a lot of sellers in the market, but not enough buyers. So that is why it keeps declining from that point. And this is the whole ideology on which the price keeps moving in downtrends, uptrends, consolidation. It goes up, it comes down. Now that is support and resistances. Okay. Now a lot of people might also ask, how do we identify supports and resistances? So you can identify supports and resistances on the basis of, when you see charts, you can see that at, one point it is going to, show a rejection. For example, if you can see over here, this is not a stock chart. I know I'll take you to a stock chart and show you. But for now, you can see if, let's say, this is the price, it's moving very linear this way. And if I see a rejection over here, I know this is my support, correct? This is my support level from which the price is bouncing back. And this is my resistance from where the price is bouncing back. So I need to see previous data in the chart patterns to analyze what are my support and resistance zones. Now, what is price action? We've been talking so much about price action. I've been saying we're going to teach you price action. So price action is basically something that helps you analyze stocks on the basis of their demand supply, what we've been discussing, supports, resistances, demand supply. We use patterns, we use trend lines, we use a lot of other tools. So what exactly is a trend line? We're going to learn about trend lines today. So trend line is something that helps you identify support and resistance zones, right? And it is done on the basis of trends. So there are basically two types of trend lines. One will be a support trend line and one will be a resistance trend line. Okay. And what exactly, how does a trend line work? Now, trend line resistance, as I showed you over here, this is a resistance trend line because as you can see, the price was rising. And as soon as it hit the resistance point, it came down, right? And this one is a support trend line. Just keep that in mind. So in a resistance trend line, what happens is the bears, which we discussed, right? The bears want the price to fall. Whenever we say bear, it means we are talking about downwards. So whenever it reaches a point, the resistance point, the bears will push it down, and bears are sellers, at that point who want to sell a lot. Now a support trend line. At support, we see that the price rejects and the price starts going upward. Now, why does that happen? Because we discussed there is a lot of buying happening. So bulls are the ones who keep buying and they raise the price higher and higher. Now, what happens is, how does trend line work? We would draw a trend line. I'll show you how to draw. I'll show you the rules for drawing trend lines. But what happens, at some point it will break that resistance or the, support. What happens when it breaks that support or resistance zone? So on the break of a trend line upside, let's say the resistance trend line is broken. So the price goes above the resistance level. It means that the bullish pressure is heavier than the selling pressure. It means there is a lot of buying pressure and selling pressure is not as strong. So it breaks that resistance level and it goes even higher. And a break on the trend line on downside, it means the bears, the sellers, they have a lot of activity going on, which compared to the buyers is very, very high. So that is why they are able to break the support. So that's what happens in a break of trend line. Okay. So wherever you see a break in the trend line, that is a very good time to enter into a trade, because whenever a support or resistance is broken, it means from that point that you are going to see you're going to see a good amount of movement in the price. Now, what are the rules that you need to know for trend lines? So I told you what rejection is, right? Rejection is the bouncing off of the price from the support or the resistance level. So in order to draw a trend line, you need to have at least 3 rejections. And as you remember the candles, you draw trend lines from the wicks of the candles and not from the body. Okay. Now, I'm gonna, before teaching you more of the rules, I'm gonna take you to the chart. I'm gonna take you to a live chart. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause screen sharing for a while because I need to log in. Okay, let me just see the chart. Yeah, I'm wick means tails, and I'm showing this in the chart. Yeah, I'm showing you trend line on the trend line on the chart, and after that I'll be covering volume, what volume means. First we need to learn trend lines, and then I'll come to volume. Okay, so let me just log in quickly, and then I'll share the screen again. Just a second, guys. I'm logging in. Almost done. Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, trading view always logs out on its own. Yeah, it does suck. I will show the trend line rule again. Don't worry. I'll take you through it once again. Support and resistance. Okay, I'll take that concept again as well. Yeah. I'm the rules of trend lines and what trend line is. I'm gonna teach you exactly that on a live chart now. Okay, let me just share my screen again. Just a second. What is a breakout? Yeah, I'm gonna show you everything. Okay, let's take some random chart. Since I've been taking Reliance so much in my examples, so let's look at Reliance. Okay. Okay. So as you remember, there is a y-axis, there is an x-axis. The y-axis shows you the price. The x-axis shows you the time. Now every candle shows you the movement of price on a particular time frame. The current time frame that we are on is 15 minutes. Okay. So now, since you have understood trends, what do we see here? Okay, let's say this over here is started here. It's a high. Then it made a low. Then it made a lower high, and then it made a lower low. So we can say that we know there is a downtrend going over here, right? So now what I'm going to do is, okay, now to draw trend line, what you need to do is you go here and you just select trend line. Now, what did I say that we need to join 3 wicks? Now let's say, now since this one doesn't have a wick, I'm going to take the highest point of it. Okay. Now this is the resistance trend line. So as what did the rules say that you join them from the wicks and you need to see 3 rejection. So what happens here is, see, the first point, it was going up, and from this point it came down. Then again it was going up, then from this point it came down. Then again it was going up and it came down before even hitting, touching the line. And then it has gone up, but again it has come down. So I can see at least 3 rejections over here. Now this is known as my resistance trend line. Now let me draw support trend line as well. Can I see a clear support over here? I am not seeing a clear rejections. So what I'll do is I'll go further back to see if I can find anything. Let me go on a higher time frame and let me check 30 minutes. I'm not seeing 3 rejections over here. But if I were to still draw one over here, it would be, let's say, from here to here. Now this is just two, rejections, but I'm just taking it for explanation. So as you can see, this was the first rejection. So the price was going down, and from this point, it went up. Then it hit the resistance, and it came down to this point, right? And then again, it went up. So this is my support trend line. Now, how do we use trend lines to make trades, right? So I was talking about something known as breakouts, right? This is the resistance, this is support. So I don't know tomorrow where the price is going to move, right? No one knows tomorrow where the price is going to go. But I know one thing, that if the price breaks this resistance, this resistance zone for tomorrow is here, right? And the price goes above that, it means that it has broken the resistance, right? So whenever a resistance is broken, it means that we will generally see a big movement in the price. So now if a resistance trend line is broken, we'll see an upward move, we'll see a bullish move, we'll see an upward trend. And if the support trend line is broken, it means the support is broken, it means the price will fall even lower. It means we'll see a downtrend, we'll see a bearish movement in the stock, right? Let me take another stock to explain a better example. Now I'll take, let's say I'm taking Infosys. Now over here, what I'll do is I'll plot a trend line on, which will show you a breakout as well. Let's say I go on 1 hour. The chart loading will take some time. Let's see some other stock. Let's take Sun Pharma. Okay, yeah, we'll get a good example over here. So I'm going to draw a trend line from here. I'm taking it from the wick. I'm drawing a support or a resistance trend line over here. Okay, this is my trend line. This is the resistance trend line. And I will draw support trend line as well. Again, for the support trend line over here, I'm seeing only 2 rejections, but always find 3 rejections, okay? So what happened here? Let's see. So this is the resistance. The price hit at that point, came down to a very big movement, came down till this point and made a low over here, and then it went up. So I start off with my plotting of trend lines on these points. So this becomes the starting of my resistance trend line. This becomes the starting of my support trend line. Now this was the first rejection. When the price hit here, I saw proper rejection. When the price again hit here, I again saw proper rejection. And what happened third time is, the third time it didn't reject, but it went above it. It broke, right? So before I get to the breakout, let's just see here as well. When it reached here, I see a proper rejection going upward. Again, when it hit the support, I see a proper rejection going upward. So now breakout. What is a breakout? A breakout is whenever the price moves it breaks either of the trend lines. So now here it has broken this up the resistance trend line. Okay, so what I'll do is I won't enter into a trade at the very moment when the trend line is broken, because as you can see, the trend line broke, it reached to this price, but again it came down, right? So what is happening in this area is, this is we call this testing if it is actually breaking. So this is the candle. Whenever you see a breakout on one candle, wait for a couple of candles to show you a retest. So a retest basically means that once the candle is broken, what happens here is, this was a resistance zone. A resistance zone means a supply zone. So whenever buyers approach the zone, the sellers will try to push the price down, right? But at this point, the buying pressure was much higher. So the buyers were able to take the price higher, but then the sellers are trying to get the price down, right? And this is why this price is coming down. But still the buying force is still strong, and that is why the price is going up. So this point, this was a breakout candle, and this is the retest. And whenever I see a retest, now since this is the resistance broken, I see a retest, I will take a long position. A long position means I will buy shares over here. And as you can see, if I buy the shares over here, the price has gone up to this point of 509. And of course, then it will come down again. But this is the trade. I would buy here and I would ideally sell at this point. And I would earn a profit of how much? 490 to 509. I'd earn a profit of 20 rupees per share, right? So that is what a breakout and retest means. Now someone wanted me to cover the topic of support and resistance again, right? So taking the example of this, a resistance is basically the area of, where there is a lot of selling activity happening. So what happens is, when does the price go up? The price goes up when there is a lot of demand. So over here, a lot of demand means there is a lot of buying of this particular stock. Now when it reaches at this point 512, or what, this is approximately 512.25. At this point, the sellers realize ki, okay, this is a very good price, and everyone would want to sell at this price now. So at this point, the selling pressure starts increasing. And when the selling pressure starts increasing, what happens is, there is not much demand anymore, because it's at a high price. So then the sellers have to start reducing the price in order to sell. And that's what happens at the resistance zone. At a support zone, that is the zone of demand, what happens is, when there is a lot of selling pressure, the price is coming down. Okay. Now when price comes, earlier the price was around 504, but now when the price is 459, I would want to buy, because the price is considerably lower than before. So a lot of people would want to buy. So when this price is the support zone where a lot of people start buying, it means they are building a lot of the demand, they're building a lot of buying pressure, and that is why support is known as a demand zone, right? So that is the concept of trend lines, that is the concept of breakouts, and that is the concept of retest. I'll take a couple more examples so that you all understand better, and then I'll explain what volume is. Let's take just dial. Okay. Okay. Just a second. Okay, so as you can see over here, the first point was for the support zone. I start from here, where from when it hit at this point, the price started going up, right? Support, again, I see a rejection over here where it hit and the price goes up. and this is the resistance zone. From this point, the price heavy rejection over here. Again, over here, I can see that before reaching there, it's rejecting. And again, at this point, I see a clear rejection. Now, as you can see, a breakout happened over here. So at this point, I would have ideally assumed, since this is the support, the price is going to reject from here, right? But as soon as the next candle opened, the price started off on that support zone, but it started going down. Now this was my breakout candle. And over here I see the breakout happened. Since the support zone was broken, the price is going down. But the buyers would try to get the price up, right? So they were able to get it up till this point. They weren't even able to get it to the support zone, but they bought it here. But the bearish pressure, the selling pressure was so much that the retest happened here itself. It didn't even reach till the support zone. The retest happened here because, as you see, this is the highest point it made after the breakout, and since then it has been falling down, right? So that is how trend lines help us to analyze when should I enter a trade, when should I buy, when should I sell. So whenever the resistance is broken, you buy, that is you go for a long position, and whenever the support trend line is broken, you sell the share, that is you basically do a short selling. And short selling, as I had explained yesterday, is even if you have, let's say, 0 shares of Just Dial in your bank, in your demat, right? I am seeing that this trend line is broken, but I don't own any shares of Just Dial. So I can do something known as a short selling, which is available only in intraday trading. So what I'll do is, when the retest happens, I'll sell shares, using the margin, and I'll sell shares. Let's say 1,000, 5,000, same amount. We'll take the example. I have 1,000. I sold worth 5,000 over here. So I sold here, and let's assume the end of the day is over here. Okay. So I sold here. So I'm allowed to sell these stocks even when I don't own them. But the only condition is that before the end of the day, that is before 3:30, that is before the end of trading day, I have to buy the shares. So that negates the whole effect, right? So what will happen is, if I am selling at this price, which is 392, 392.45, and I'm buying at 371. So if I'm buying at 371 and if I'm selling at 392, it means I'm making a profit, right? And how much profit am I making? 371, 392, approximately 21 rupees per share. So that's how short selling works, and that's how trend lines work. So I'm just gonna quickly come back to the chat. There are a lot of messages. Vaishnav, please close your video. It was a 1 hour chart. It wasn't a 1 day chart. There are like 80 messages. Let me. Yeah, people want to see the rules and the notes. Yeah, I'll take you to that again. Which time frame is best to plot a support and resistance? So if you are doing an intraday trade, it is better to check 1 hour ka thing and plot it on 1 hour and then see it on 15 minutes. That would be the best time frame. What is false breakout? Don't get into that right now. Just focus on this. Where can I see recording of yesterday's meeting? It will be shared after all the webinars are done. In what ways are horizontal SNR different from trendline SNR? They're not different as such. A support zone is a support zone and a resistance zone is a resistance zone. Yeah, you should do it on 15 minutes for the purpose of intraday trading, but always check it on 1 hour as well. Yes, you need 3 wicks touching the trend line. On both trend lines, you need 3 wicks. That's when you have drawn a perfect trend line. we have to connect wicks only, or the body is also fine? No, you have to connect only the wicks. You cannot connect the body. The only time you will connect the body is when there is no wick. Like the first example I taken, the initial point, there was no wick on that candle. That is why I started from the body. How do you see rejection? So rejection is basically when I'm seeing, right? So if the price is moving downwards, I see the this thing, the price goes up from one particular point. That point is known as a rejection. Can the lines cut through the wicks? Ideally, they shouldn't. They shouldn't cut through the wicks. Tanya is saying, please explain support line on this chart. Tanya, I don't. I think I've covered it a couple of times, so I think this chart is long back. I don't know if it's still clear or not. Just message again if it's not clear. Rules for trend line, yes, I'll be showing it again. And I'm just taking these doubts because the trend line concept gets done here, and then next I'll be moving to volume. And how many days we need to find 3 points for trend line? So I was using a daily time frame over here. You should look on a maximum 1 hour or a maximum 15 minutes, and don't go too far back in that. I'll take an example on 15-minute chart as well. How to plot the most effective trend line? Look for 3 rejections and join on wicks. That is the most effective and perfect trend line. What if there is no retest and price goes higher? Then so at one point you realize, okay, it's not coming down, there is no retest happening, it's going upward. Without a retest, the buying pressure is so high. So you don't need to look for a retest and then, but most of the cases you'll always see a retest happening. When volume and price both goes up, it basically shows upward trend. Volume, I'll get into it. I'll be showing volume with trend line after this. Let's just focus on trend line for now. Yeah, you can start trend line from any point of high or low. Yeah, I've asked everyone to switch off their videos once again. Yeah, I'll show example on this thing. I'll show the example on a smaller time frame. Aryan is saying, what if you bought a stock at support and it goes down as a fall breakout? Why does this happen? So a fake out, it means basically, so when a breakout happens and the retest doesn't happen. So let's say there is a support trend line and it broke over here and it's coming down. It came till this point, and ideally the retest would have been, it comes till this point, and again it goes down. But sometimes what can happen is when you see a breakout, after that the price will go up, and that is why we look for a retest. When you see a retest, and then you know, okay, from now it's gonna go down. But if you don't see a retest, it means this was a false breakout. Vibhav, can you repeat this thing very quickly? Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple of more examples. Don't worry. Why do we consider wicks? Because the wick is the highest or the lowest point that the price reached, right? And if you want to consider the movement, you need to consider the extent to which the prices went, and that is why we consider wicks and not the closer opening prices. Which chart to use? I'm using normal candle charts. Manish, I'm reading charts at the end of every topic, and that is why. So before I move on to the next topic, I need to know everyone is clear with this, and that is why I'm taking these doubts right now. Do we connect red candles only for support and resistance while drawing trend line? No, there's nothing like you use only red candles or only green candles. You use the high points and you use the low points. Why support and demand zone are broken? How do you explain the sudden uptrend or downtrend? So why the sudden uptrend or downtrend happen is, let's say support. Support is basically a zone of demand, right? It means that over there is a lot of heavy buying pressure. Now, when that zone is broken, it means that the selling pressure is even heavier than that buying pressure. So once that zone is broken, it means after that there is no support zone, right? Any zone. There is a free area for them to move even lower. So that is why when any support or demand zone is broken, that is why you see a bigger move, uptrend or downtrend. Why not 2 rejections? Why only 3 rejections? Because 3 rejections gives you a more precise, more accurate accurate idea of the trend. One minute chart analysis becomes very quick. Go down to don't go below 3 minutes. Can we make trend line from body to body? No, you cannot. It will be a wrong trend line. It won't be right then. If we do short selling and then try to buy shares later on, but what if there are no buyers available? That's rarely a scenario. If you trade in very penny stocks or stocks where there is no where trading is not happening, only then it is this thing. What do you call it? Only then it happens very rarely. But in terms of short selling, it will automatically get exited the trade. Yeah, I'll be getting to volume. No, Prince, you cannot make trend line from body to body. How to avoid fake breakout? You cannot avoid it. It's something that happens in the market. The only thing, that is why we look for a retest. When you see a retest happening, you know there's not going to be a fake breakout over here. Okay, how many charts? There's a lot of charts. Yeah, I'm gonna quickly take a couple of more examples and then move to volume. And then I'll take questions only after I'm done with the volume. The volume is going to be the last thing for the day. Suman, you cannot avoid fake breakouts. It's something that happens in the markets. You don't need to spam the chat with that. When will buy or sell trade after breakout, support or resistance? When the resistance is broken, you buy, and when the support is broken, you sell. Okay, I think I'm about. Yeah, I'll be sharing the slides. Don't worry. So first, I'll take you to the slides once again to show you the rules, so that if someone is noting down, they can note down. And then I'll show you a couple of more examples. We can see trend lines on candlesticks only. Yeah, it's ideal to do analysis only on candlesticks. Okay, I think that's a lot. Most of the doubts are saying they want to see again. So I'm just going to take you to the PPT again. I'm going to show you the slides once again, the rules, and then I'll show you a couple of more examples. Just a second. Yeah. So trend line rules, you need minimum 3 rejections. For support trend line, for resistance trend line, both, you need minimum 3 rejections. You always connect them from the wicks of the candle, never from the body. On the break of the trend line, wait for the candle to close above or below. So as I said, whenever you see a break, let's say the resistance trend line is broken and the particular candle is still moving, and it has to close above that trend line, and then you look for the retest, and only then you can, you have a confirmed thing. And always trade in the direction of breakout. So I hope this was enough time for you all to have a look at the rules again. And if anyone wants to see the psychology one, I'll take you through. I'll just put it on again. Just a second. Yeah. Resistance trend line is basically the bears, that is the sellers, stopping the price from going even higher. The trend line support is a support zone, a demand zone where buyers will increase, they'll keep increasing the price. And when the trend line breaks on the upside, bulls have the advantage since there is a lot of buying pressure. Whenever the support trend line is broken, that is, if it's broken on a downside, bears, that is sellers, will have a lot of heavy selling pressure, and that is why the price will go down. So again, we'll be going to the stock charts. Now, since everyone is saying do on a 15-minute time frame, I'll cover a 15-minute time frame and I'll take another chart. I'm just going to take two more charts, okay? Let's take HDFC Bank. Okay, so I am on a 15-minute chart. Okay. Okay, so this is a 15-minute chart that I'm seeing. And I know, again, I haven't found 3x, but I'm showing you, for example, over here. So as you can see, since this is a 15-minute chart, okay, so this was on 27th, this is 28th, this is 29th, 30th, and 31st. So what happened was on 26th ending, the price ended over here. The next day, there was a rejection and the price came down. Went up, went up, went up, came down, hit the support zone. The support trend line went up. Before reaching the resistance, came down, came here, and before reaching the support, again went up. So I'm seeing a couple of rejections over here already. From the resistance, I see a rejection again. So now, what will be my prediction for tomorrow? Now, since the price is already so close at the support trend line, there are two chances, there are two possibilities. Either it will show a rejection and it will go up, or it will show me a breakout. Okay. So if it shows me a rejection, I will not take any trade. I will not take any trade. I will neither buy nor sell. I will wait for a breakout. And if the price goes below the support trend line, that's when I will see a breakout. In order to make you understand breakout better, let's say this was my trend line and this is today, and I am already seeing that the price has broken the trend line. Okay, just an assumption. So now, but what we can see is, I'll zoom in so that you can see a much more clearly. So what happened over here is, see, over here hit the support and it went up, came down, and here it is breaking the trend line. But what happened is, even when it's breaking the trend line, it didn't close below the trend line. It closed within, this thing, within the trend line ka zone. So this candle is a 15-minute candle. So what happens is, during that 15-minute period, at some point, it came here, and a lot of people might have thought, okay, I saw a breakout, I'll just sell it off over here. But that's not what you do. First of all, what you need to do is you need to wait for any candle to close below the support trend line or above the resistance trend line. So over here, I need to see a candle closing below the trend line, and again then I need to see a retest as well. Only then, only when I see these two things, only then I will enter into a short position over here, right? So this was one example. I'll take another example on a even smaller time frame. Let's see SBI. Let's say I'll take 5 minutes. Okay. So I'll take this point. And I'll take these points. Okay, so this is on a 5-minute time frame. It means that every candle represents the movement of price in 5 minutes. So over here, what happened? One sec, yeah. From the support zone, I see a rejection coming down. Again, I see a resistance over here because there is a big down move from there, a big rejection. Then again, from the support, I see rejection. Again, from the support, I see some rejection, and now it is nearing the resistance where I might either see a rejection or I might see a breakout. If I see a rejection, it means it will stay inside. I don't know what will happen. I won't take any trade. But in the scenario that tomorrow, if the candle, let's say it opens over here. Okay, so since this is a 5-minute candle, let's say at 9 a.m. it opens over here. At 9:01 it reaches here. At 9:03 it reaches here, but at 9:05 it closes here. So when at 9:03 it reaches here, I will not enter into any trade because I will wait for the candle to close above the trend line. Whatever breakout candle it is, it has to close above the resistance trend line or below the support trend line. So now if at 9:05 the trend line, the candle closes at this point, then I still won't enter into a trade because I'll wait for a retest. So at 187 it ended at 9:05. Now the next candle will be from 9:05, 9:06 to 9:10. At 9:06 the price came here. 9:07 price came here. At 9:09 the price came here. At 9:10 also it stayed here. So even at 9:10 I will not enter into any trade because it might just come down. Now the next candle, 9:11 to 9:15. Now at 9:11, if it comes here, or the price comes here and it closes below the trend line, I will not enter into a trade because it was a false breakout. That is what a false breakout basically is. And also the fact where if the candle doesn't close below or above the trend line, that is also called a false breakout. Now, if from the 9:11 point, it starts here and at the 9:15 point, it closes here, then I have seen a retest. It means that the buying pressure is still higher, that even though the sellers tried to bring it down, but from the resistance point, the buying was so high that it's still going up. So whenever I see a retest over here, I will be entering into a trade. That is a buying trade where I will be looking for a long position. Long position is basically you are expecting the price to rise. That is why I will buy the shares. So this is about trend lines. Now comes the thing of volume. What exactly is volume? Volume is basically the quantity of stock traded. So one stock sold and purchased, it means one volume, right? So one transaction of this stock will be one volume for this. Now, as you can see, I've put this volume. These people were asking yesterday, what are these green candles we are seeing, below the chart? This is the volume it is showing you. So as you can see, just look here. It will be mentioning the volume over here, okay? So at this candle, this 5-minute candle, the amount of stock traded was 1.449 million. That is the amount of shares which were traded in this particular time frame. That is a time frame of 5 minutes. Okay. So as you can see, this volume candle is red. Now, why are volume candles green or red? Volume basically just tells you how much transaction is happening. Now, the green and the red thing tells you that. So if you can see this candle, it opened here, it closed here, right? It is a bearish candle. So this close is at 186. Now the next candle, if it opens and closes above the previous candle's price, then it will show you a green volume, right? Because why it shows that is the previous candle price was going down. In this candle, the price is going up and even above the previous candle. That is why it is showing you a green volume candle. So now how volume helps us is, whenever I see a breakout, I will of course be looking for the retest. But what happens is, since I've been specifying on the fact that there is a lot of buying pressure, there is a lot of selling pressure. What is that pressure? That pressure basically means the amount of demand for that particular stock. So if along with the breakout and retest, I see heavy volume. So let's say over here, this is showing this much volume, right? And tomorrow breakout, this is what, how much volume is it? 801.29k something, 1.449 million. But if tomorrow breakout happens and I see, let's say 2 million, 3 million, the volume candle is, let's say, up till here, bigger than any previous candles. I am sure I am seeing, and these previous candles for here were very small. And if I immediately see the breakout with a high volume, it means there is a heavy volume, heavy buying pressure, right? So that is another confirmation. So volume helps me confirm the breakout along with the retest. So that is how volume helps us. So to cover volume again, volume basically means the amount of securities or stocks exchanged or transacted. One purchase or sale between between a buyer and seller, it means one volume. And for every candle, it will show you a volume. Now, if I go for 1 hour, it will show you, okay. So this is the 1 hour chart. Now, as you can see, the volume, this is showing you here. It is showing you for 1 hour ka volume. Now, 1 hour ka volume over here at this candle, you can see it is 8.57 million. Right. So if I were to, okay, so the previous ones that I've already showed you, what do you call it, the trend lines, which are the ones I had showed you. Wait, I'd taken Just Dial and Reliance, right? No, not just, sorry, I'd taken Sun Pharma. So the trend line is over here. So to show you better, see, before the breakout happened, you can see how much the volume was: 280k, 636k, 349k. But now when the breakout happened, can you see how big of a change in volume you are seeing here? It is clearly showing you heavy buying pressure, right? Since the price is going up, it's buying pressure, and the volume, you can see it's heavy. It is 5.335 million. So that is how we use volume along with, breakouts and retest to ensure that we confirm the signal over here. So the heavy volume, it cleared key, okay, there is actually heavy pressure here. And the retest is showing me key, okay, this is stronger than the selling pressure, so I can enter into a long trade over here. So that is how volume helps us. So that's all we had to cover today. I am seeing a lot of messages. Vaishnav, can you please switch off your video? Thank you. Wait. Before everyone starts typing out their doubts, there are a lot of doubts already. A lot of people are messaging. I am not able to see a single message. It's just flying out of my hands. How to identify a fake out? As I told you, a fake out means when you see a wick above the trend line, but the close is below the trend line. In an example of a resistance. So whenever a breakout happens, if the candle doesn't close in the direction of the breakout, it is known as a false breakout. A false breakout, or you call it fake out, it's one and the same thing. So we take a trade only when the price proceeds in the preferred direction after the retest. Yes, that is correct, Viral. Gap up and gap down, don't get into that right now. Just focus into this. How to choose a stock to do this? You have to keep scrolling through multiple stocks to find trends and patterns. There is no, shortcut to that. In short sell, when we buy the stock again to exit the trade, does the stock reflect in our holding? No, it does not. It does not. It is when you buy that thing, it is purely to negate the sell. Weber, I think I've covered the concept of fake breakout now. People were asking me to move fast. I think, yeah, it's done. Gaps between candlesticks. Kindly come back to topic. I have limited internet. Okay, I think that's done. What if we cannot find 3 weeks? Should we avoid trade? Yes, ideally you should avoid that trade without 3 weeks. Pratham, please switch off your video. Why we connect wicks only, not body? I think I covered that already. Now I understand the entering point, how to know the exit point. So to understand exit points, whenever you enter a trade, you are supposed to keep a target for yourself. What is success rate of using this approach? Since how long have you been using this approach personally? This is the very basic of price action, strategies. I've been using it since a long time now, and it works very, very well. If you earn from trading, why are you pursuing CA? Obviously, you can earn more than all CAs. Teaching and all is good, but how much do you earn every day? Pursuing CA, why am I pursuing CA? I'm not gonna do any job or anything in the CA field. I'm just giving the exam because it's something I started and I want to finish it. I don't want to leave it in between. So yeah, I'm gonna be sticking to trading, that's for sure. Significance of gaps in candle during opening period. Does that show something? So Charanjit, that is known as a gap up and a gap down. Don't get into that right now. The volume is not for buy or sell. A volume is one transaction. A lot of people are asking, how do you find if the volume is for buy or sell? You see the price direction and then you understand if there is a lot of buying pressure or a selling pressure, because every transaction means there is one buyer and one seller. For every transaction, you need two parties, right? Jananshi is saying, can you later again show where's leverage thing or how to use that? I guess Upstocks doesn't support short selling. No, Upstocks has short selling. Bollinger Bands, Bollinger Bands are again indicators. I don't prefer using indicators. Where is the volume number coming? I think I showed that, right, with the cursor. It was coming on the top left corner. What is 3 rejections? 3 rejection is basically the price rejecting from that point. So just find 3 points of where the price is being rejected. Can a trend line be drawn on a higher time frame like 1 day or 1 week? Is it that we have higher accuracy and higher time frame? No, it's nothing like you have higher accuracy and higher time frame. any indicator during breakout for confirmation. Again, I'll repeat, I do not use indicators, nor will I suggest anyone to use any indicators. Do we need to check volume in breakout? You don't necessarily need to check it. It's something that is an add-on thing which you can do for better accuracy. Then what's next? What's next? A lot of people were not able to see the volume number. The volume was on the left top corner. If you weren't able to see, I'll let me just get done with these couple of questions. I'll take you back to the chart and show you where the volume number is coming. Yeah, the content for today is done. So before I continue with the question and answers, there's something I want to tell you all that. So regarding the recordings, a lot of people have been messaging. Just let me show you something. Just a second, guys. Just pause with the chat, with the doubts. I'm just need to show you something. Yeah. So a lot of people were asking me a lot of doubts regarding the recording. So yeah, the recordings are available for people, but as we had mentioned earlier as well, there are certain conditions, and the condition is that you need to open an Upstocks account through the link that we send you. It's not compulsory, but if you want a recording, you have to make an account. That's the condition here, and the recordings will be shared with you on 5th August. So all the 5 lectures will be shared with you on 5th August. Okay, so a lot of people who've been asking, "Ki, I have an account already," or something like that. That's the condition if you want the recorded course, the recording access. So you will have to do that. And as I said, there were some benefits to it as well. Ki you for 30 days you will not be charged any brokerage, and you get 2 courses worth $9.99 free along with that, and you'll also get a money control premium membership for $9.99. So that's it about the recordings. So I hope that clears it out for everyone regarding the recordings. Now, yeah, now the contents for today are done. I'm gonna engage into the question and answers again. If someone wants to leave, they are free to leave. The contents for today are done. Where was I? I need to find the last question that I had read. Best time to trade? There is no best time to trade. There's nothing like it's better to just once. Please keep your video off. Yeah, there is no best time. It's not like it's better to trade at 12 o'clock. It's better to trade at 2. There's nothing like that. There's no particular time when it's good to trade. What are price action patterns and strategies? Price action patterns and strategies are something that consider the supports and resistance, and through that they consider the demand and supply. So it's price action, basically everything, it works on the demand and supply factors and the properties of demand and supply. In the morning when the market starts, for around 30 to 45 minutes, the market is quite volatile. So start taking trades post that. That's what I follow. Summarize the volume concept, please. I'll do that once again. Let me just get done with the questions. And before ending the meeting, I'll tell you what's volume once again. Which time frame do I use personally? For intraday, I check on 15 minutes and on 1 hour. And then I follow the charts in the live market on 3 minutes. Can the lines cut through the wicks? They shouldn't, Shubham. The lines should not cut through the wicks ideally. What time frame? Yeah, I think I answered the time frame. What if we don't find 3 wicks? Then wait till you find 3 wicks. Don't enter into a trade without that. What about delivery or swing? Which time frame should we use? For that, use at least 4 hour time frame. What's the minimum time should we see for retest? A retest doesn't come in terms of time frame or time limits. It's just you need to see the price movement in that direction. How to choose stop loss and target? So choosing stop loss and target is it depends on your risk taking appetite. It clearly depends on a person's risk taking appetite. Why make trend line and not use support resistance on a trading platform? You can do it on the trading platform itself. The trading view website that I've been using on Upstocks, that is the same charts that are available over there. So you can do the plotting over there as well. Sir, what is the ideal target for exiting? So in at least you should have a risk reward ratio of 1:3. Key you have a stop loss. If you have a stop loss of 10, then have a target of 30, 20 or 30. Please tell us how you learned trading. So trading for me has been a lot of self-learning, a lot of trial and error. What are price action pattern and strategy? Harsh, I think I've answered your question. Sagar is saying my Aadhaar is not linked with my number. I think you're asking for the Upstocks registration. Just WhatsApp me about that. Kunal is saying I already have an Upstocks account. Am I allowed to open another one with your link? Yeah, you'll just need to have another email ID, I think. Harsh, I think I'm only seeing questions by Harsh. He spammed the chat so much with the same question. What can we do if you already have an Upstocks account, and what can we do to get the recordings? So if you already have an Upstocks account, try opening a new one with your link. Can we trade in options with this strategy? Yes, you can. Accuracy of price action. Price action, various strategies, it generally ranges from a very high accuracy. Right. At least if I were to put it in terms of percentage, at least 85%, approximately. Ignatius Jeffrey is saying generally 9:15 to 10 the market is bullish or highly volatile, but after that it fades. So it's not always bullish, it can be bearish as well. But yeah, you're right about the volatility. In that period, the market is very volatile. That's why I avoid trading in the initial 30 to 45 minutes, as I said. Yes, I am taking you to the PPT, guys. Just a second, let me get done with the questions. रिस्क रिवॉर्ड कितना मिनिमम होना चाहिए? आइडियली मैंने बोला 1:3 होना चाहिए. 1:2 में भी लोग करते हैं, बट 1:1 में भी लोग करते हैं, बट I think it should be at least 1:3. Will you be telling us the price action strategy? So trend lines, as you saw, it is price action. It is one strategy of price action. Hey, Sarvesh is saying, hey, Umang, it was a good one. Please do tell us books and reading material to refer. Thanks, mate. Yes, okay. Definitely, I'll share it on the group. And I'm glad you had a good time. I'm really glad. Okay, the questions don't end. I think everyone is asking me to show the PPT again and talk about volume. I'm just going to quickly, run through it so that I can see if there are any new questions. What broker do you use? I'm using Upstocks. PPT, volume, PPT, volume. Best wishes for your CA. I'm doing CA as well. Thanks a lot, Shubham, and all the best to you as well. what are triangle patterns, wedge, and all that. So yes, those are also price action patterns. Sagar, regarding the Aadhaar card not linked with number, WhatsApp me. We'll talk about it. I'll guide you through that. Can you please show trend line and volume in Madhav Infra Private Limited? Okay, we'll do that. Patterns, no, we are not covering any other patterns today. It was just about trend lines. Do you use a pro version of Upstocks? Yes, I use a pro version of Upstocks. Please show the PPT. Yes, yes. Oh my God, RK is typed such a big message. I am showing the PPT, buddy. Just. Can we make trading as a career? You definitely can. You definitely can. Pranav, Nikhil, myself, we are all like full-time traders. I know I'm doing CA, but I'm just doing it because I started it, so I want to complete it. One PAN, one account with a broker, bro. Yes, and that is why I'm saying he register it in someone else's name, right? Last day to open up stocks, is it 31st? No, it's not you. It's not 31st July. You can open it anywhere between in the 5 days of seminars. Is price action good compared to indicators? Definitely, price action is much better than indicators. I do not use indicators at all. How much do you make on an average? It depends on the capital I am trading with, but when I'm doing like it, right now, I'm not trading full-fledgedly, but whenever I do, if I use a capital of let's say 50K, I can 50K to 1 lakh. I manage to at least 10 to 15K average, if you can say. Explain retest. Yes. Okay, how many more messages? I think a lot of them. I'll just share the PPT, and after that, if anyone still has any doubts, how to determine when to use a trend line in order to get best profit during purchase. You can use trend line at any part of day. Dikshit, I must have missed your doubt. Can you please type it again? What is reward ratio you get in price action? The reward ratio depends up to you, right? You can select up to you. Saurabh is saying I have demat in angel broking. Can I open new account with Upstocks without closing my angel? Yes. You don't need to close your account with angel. You can open a new demat with Upstocks as well. After a resistance line breaks, how can we plot the next trend line? So once you see a next trend, uptrend or downtrend, that's when you start making a new trend line. Sir, the breakout wala candle should strictly close above the trend line resistance 1. Yes, that is correct. Or if the breakout wala candle is a big one, but it closes below the trend line I made, but it's still green bullish. No. Dikshit, your first point was right, but the second point would not be correct. How is support resistance different point? Pivot point. So pivot point is also a kind of support and resistance level as well. But when you manually plot these support and resistances, it acts in a much more efficient way. Can we join more than 3 points to make a trend line? Yes, you definitely can. Rizwan, when support broken becomes resistance, and when resistance broken becomes support. Yes, that is very much true. That is completely 100% true. Can we trade in resistance and support zone without breakout? See, you can of course buy and sell in that period, but it won't give you the profit. It won't give you the moment from which you can earn a good amount of profit. TradingView Plus account, is it useful? You don't need a Plus account. I initially just used the free account, and most of the things is like freely available on TradingView. Our binary options legit, Binomo, Olim Trade. Please don't get into all that. Please don't, Vikrant. Please repeat today's content once. Okay, so I think I'm done with the questions. I'll just take you through the PPT once again and cover that doubt of volume. Rohan is saying thank you for today's session. The pleasure is all mine, Rohan. The pleasure is all mine. I'm sharing my screen once again so you can see the PPT once again, and then I'll finally wrap up with volume once again. So I'll just briefly take you through all the slides for today. We started with trends where we said that a trend can be an uptrend or a downtrend. And then we learned what is an uptrend. An uptrend is basically when you start seeing higher highs and higher lows as well consistently. That makes it an uptrend. A downtrend is when you find lower highs and lower lows. That's what shows a downtrend. Then there is consolidation where you do not see any big upward or downward movement. It is a very range bound movement, or you can say it is a very flat movement known as consolidation. Then we learned about support and resistance. We took the example of a ball and a flat where we have a ceiling and a floor, and how if we throw a ball towards any of those things, it will reject from there, like it will bounce back from there. Then we learned that a support is known as a demand zone, a resistance is known as a supply zone, and at at a support there is a lot of buying activity, and at a resistance there is a lot of selling activity. Then we started off with trend lines. We went through what is the psychology behind trend lines, that a resistance trend line, there are a lot of sellers, there are a lot of bears there who will bring the price down. And at a support trend line, we have a lot of bulls, that is, we have a lot of buyers who will bring the price up from that point. And whenever a trend line breaks, when it breaks on the upside, it means that the bulls, that is the buyers, have a huge pressure, and that is why they are breaking the resistance zone, they're breaking the supply zone, and that is why it's going to go up. On the break of a trend line to the downside, it means that bears have higher pressure. It means there are more sellers. There is a lot of selling activity. And since it is more than the buying activity, the price will continue to keep further going down. And finally, we had the rules of trend lines. The rules is that we need to see minimum 3 rejections. Rejections is when you see that it comes to that particular point and from there it bounces back. And you need to see those 3 rejections. You always connect trend lines from wicks, never from the body. And whenever you see the break of a trend line, you wait for the candle to close above the resistance trend line and below the support trend line. And wherever the breakout is, whatever the direction of the breakout is, you will always trade in that particular direction. So that was the PPT. And finally, I have to show you Madhav in Madhav ka chart someone wanted to see. I'll show that. And before that, the volume concept again. Volume, as I said, over here, if you can see where my cursor is, that's where it shows you the volume. So whatever candle I am on, it will show you the volume for that. So as you can see right now, the candle that I am on, it was 5.094 volume. And over here is the comparative bar graphs of the volumes for each candle. Now regarding the color of the volume, I will show you one thing. Just 1 second. Okay, so as you can see, we'll start with this candle. Over here, the green candle. So here, the previous candle, the price closed at here. And in this next candle, it is a bullish candle, right? It's a green candle and it's closing at the same price. So it's a green candle now because it had seen a bullish pressure. The next candle, as you can see, it closed at a higher price than the previous candle. So again, the volume was bullish volume, right? Because the price went up than as compared to the previous candle. Again, the next candle, the closing price is higher than the previous candle. It means there was a bullish pressure. That is why the volume is also green. The next one, again, you see, it closed above the previous closing position. Again, that is why we see a green candle. Now the next candle you see, the closing price is below the closing price of the previous candle. And that is why we see a red candle, right? Again, if you see over here, coming down, it closed at this price, and the next candle is closing above that price, and thus we see a green candle. Next candle, the price is closing below the previous candle's closing price, thus we have a red candle in volume, thus we have red volume. So that is how the volume works. And people were asking about retest. So over here, as you can see, this is the breakout that happened. Now, I am sure this is not a fake breakout because it has closed above the trend line, right? Now, what happens is, since this is a heavy buying pressure and resistance is a supply zone. So when I'm seeing buying pressure, the sellers, the selling zone will obviously try to bring it down, right? Because they are the bears. So even after the breakout, they will try to bring it down. Now, what retest means is, whenever you see a retest, like you saw a retest over here, it came here, but again it went up. So what happens in a retest, logically is that the bears were trying to put the price down. They brought their full force, but their full force was also smaller than the buying force. So at this point, the buying force prevailed, right? The buying force was stronger than the selling force, and that is why it continued. So it is just the retest. It helps you, make sure that the buying pressure is stronger than the selling pressure. This is the first time when it tells you that the buying pressure is stronger than the selling pressure. And this is the second time when it tells you that the buying pressure is stronger than the selling pressure over here. And that is what retest indicates. And that is why we look for a retest, because it confirms your analysis. So Shubham, there is no particular number of times before which it breaks it. It can break in one time, it can break in 10 times also. What's the minimum time should we see for retest? As I said, Kailash, there is no particular time you should wait for the retest. It can take 2 candles, it can take 1 candle, it can take 5 candles as well. Amay is saying, thank you for your time and knowledge you share with us. Best of luck to you for your exams. I am logging off. Thank you so much, Amay. Thank you so much. Monique is asking, do we need GST number if a total intraday sale is more than 20 lakh per year? Are there any software which identify trend line automatically? No, you would not be requiring a GST number, but income tax you would have to pay, obviously. Are there any software which identify trend line? So on TradingView, you will find a feature called Auto Trend Line, but it doesn't fetch you very effective and very good trend lines. It will just draw random trend lines. Vamshi is saying, thank you for this session, bro. I am really glad you had a good time and you learned something. The pleasure is all mine. Prem Kumar, what is your most profitable day? The most loss you took? Don't really remember. Akash was saying, would you please share the PPT? We'll have a word about it and we'll let you know if we will be sharing the PPT or not. Satu is saying, thanks a million, sir. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Satu. Thank you so much. Prem Kumar is saying, highest number of green days and red days. I didn't get that. Light Ken is saying, explain volume breakout. Volume breakout is basically whenever you are seeing a breakout, if you see that there is a high volume, it means that you can clearly see that there is a high pressure, buying pressure. If you see a bullish breakout, that is the resistance zone is broken, and if you see there is heavy volume at that point, it gives you a confirmation key, okay, there is actually a heavy volume of buying, a heavy pressure of buying going on. Volume is money or stock bought or sell. Volume is the stock quantity bought or sell, not the price, but the stock ka quantity. Suggest a virtual trading platform, please. You on TradingView itself, they offer a paper trading, which is virtual trading. How do you decide which wick points to choose to draw from the trend line? So when I'm looking for a resistance trend line, I'll start from a high point first, and then I see, okay, I'm seeing rejections. So I basically look for rejections when I'm trying to plot a trend line. Momeen is saying, thank you for today's session. These 2 days have been very amazing. Thank you so much, Momeen. Thank you so much. Mihir is saying, thank you. You're welcome, buddy. Rahil is asking for different price action tools or names. So there is trend lines, support and resistances. There are a lot of other things. It all comes back to the basics too. It will all come back to support and resistance too. Does color of volume matter? Not really. I just explained how it works once again, right? So yeah. Rizwan, thank you, sir. Love the way you teach. Easy to understand. Thank you so much, Rizwan. Rishi is saying, superb, sir. You are great. It was amazing to learn from you. Keep up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shubham. When Vinci is asking, when you say retest, are you looking at the volume or the second candle breaking on the trend line? In terms of retest, I'm always looking on the trend line. I'm looking at the price retest, never the volume. Kailash is saying, learned so much today. Thank you for the session. It's a pleasure, Kailash. Dikshit says thank you. Bye, Dikshit. You're welcome. Shivam is asking, what is the minimum time span of a single candlestick for making trend line for intraday? Don't go below 5 minutes. H is asking, I have a doubt. Yes, H, what is your doubt? Shubham, you're welcome. Yugandhar, what are my favorite stocks? Any stock that will give me a profitable position, a profitable trade is my favorite stock. When sellers are dominating, price goes down. Yes, that will happen. Yes, that's right. Nikhil asking, Upstock is asking for a signature on a blank piece of paper. Is it safe to do so? Yes, Nikhil, it is safe to do so. I have done it myself. Volume, Mahesh is again asking, volume is money or stock bought or sell? Volume is the quantity of stock bought or sell. It's not the price. Is there a relation between uptrend or downtrend with support or resistance? Well, obviously there is, because from a support point, when you see a rejection, you'll start seeing an uptrend and vice versa. Does Upstocks charge 20 bucks per share or per transaction? So the brokerage is 0.05% of your transaction or 20 rupees, whichever is lower. So it is per transaction, not per share. Kailash, it's still asking you a referral ID. Just ping me on WhatsApp. I'll send you the ID. Vignesh, I'll be sending the name of the books on the group. How much leverage we get in Upstocks? It's around 5 to 6 times, but it depends on stock to stock. Every stock has a different leverage. Ignatius Jeffrey is saying, I've been making a lot of losing trades. Now I know why I'm making a lot of losses. Now I'm understanding slowly. Thank you so much for sharing this, Gabo. I'm really glad, man, you learned a lot. I mean, if I could help you realize your mistakes and that you can do better, no, that's all we're looking for. Dharmek, you're welcome. Mihir is saying, when the breakout volume is high in case of bullish case, does that mean it will count down after some time soon? Volume is higher in case of a bullish case. Does that mean? Yeah, so even when a breakout happens, even when uptrend happens, at some point, of course, it's going to calm down, right? You're welcome, Shivam. Tarun, I think I answered your question. I hope it helped you. You're welcome, Golu. You're welcome, Swapnil. You're welcome, Lobo Vivek. Swati is asking, what is the cost of your mentorship program? We'll be sharing the course details properly at the end of the webinar. Like on the 5th day, we'll be sharing that with you. So just wait on till then. How long have I been trading? I've been trading for around 3 years now. No, Vrushti, not immediately after a breakthrough. Just wait for the retest. And once you see the retest, then you can. H, what statement? HP, yes. If you're registering for Upstocks now, you can, you'll be able to get access to the recordings. When everyone are selling, you start buying. And when everyone are buying, you start selling. No. So H, think of it in terms of price, right? We start off at 100 and there is a lot of buying pressure. धीरे धीरे लोग buy करते जा रहे हैं. And as the demand keeps increasing, the price will also keep increasing. And price price increases, let's say on 10, price increase 100, 110, 120, 130. But the higher the price goes, the demand will start falling. Like if at 100 the demand was, at 100,000 people wanted to buy, at 110 900 people would want to buy, at 120 60 people would want to buy. Okay, but in terms of the sellers, when the price keeps rising, at 100 there will be 50 sellers, at 120 there will be 60 sellers, at 150 there will be 100 sellers. But when it reaches at 150, there are 100 sellers, but people are not ready to buy at that price, right? So at that point, the sellers will start selling at a lower price. They'll come down to 149. If anyone is buying, if anyone's not buying at 149 also, they'll come down to 148. That's how it works. Nikhil is asking, how would you be informed if we have opened an Upstocks account in these 5 days? So that's the purpose of the link. If whenever you do it through the link, I get a mail. Shivam, yes, you can depend on a 5-minute trend line. May I know your most continuous green profitable days and continuous loss days? Oh, so you're asking me in terms of my streak of profits and losses. So on a so I generally, you make losses and you make profits on one day as well. But in terms of my net profit, if you ask, I've generally never been in a loss for more than 2 days continuously, because if I think that is happening, I take a break for it and refigure things for myself. Rizwan is saying, as per new SEBI rule change, leverage will not be available. It is still not effective, right? So it's going to take some time for that as well. Why Upstock doesn't allow margin trading for many stocks which other brokers allow? I already have an account with Upstocks, and now ICICI Direct is approaching me to open an account with them. Should I open one with them or as beginner? As a beginner, Upstocks is completely fine for you. In terms of options, Shwardhan, don't get into it right now. Just stick to stocks right now, because options can get quite bit tricky for you. You're welcome, Shubham. You're welcome, Tarun. You're most welcome, Mahesh. Roshni saying thank you. If we miss after the retest and it goes very low, should we hold the stock for it to go up? Should we don't hold it for a longer time? Just book the loss and get out of it then. Is LU band same at support and resistance? Not really. It's not. It might work similar, but it's not exactly the same. So we are done with the questions for today. It was a fun session with you guys. I hope everyone could learn well. Everyone had a good time, and we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Nikhil is going to be taking a session. He's the most experienced out of the three of us, so I think you're going to have a lot of fun with him. Bye, guys. Signing off for today. You all can leave now. We're done for the day. Bye. Good night. You're most welcome, Shivam. You're most welcome. Pranav, are you still there? Please unmute yourself if you're still there. Pranav, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're there. How long did it take to become a pro trader? I don't know what you would call as a pro, but to be able to be efficient and consistent with your trade, it takes a couple of months of practice, and then you can be consistent with your trading. Prem is saying, thank you for patiently going through all the doubts. Awesome session, brother. Thank you so much, Prem. Thank you so much. And